I want to talk about the Cleveland Browns because the Cleveland Browns absolutely curb stomped and mollywopped and destroyed the Dallas Cowboys this past Sunday in Jerry World, and they got a big-time win. They won that game 49-38, and the Cleveland Browns are now 3-1 on the season. Now, I could take this time to poo-poo the Cowboys and say, Dallas sucks, they stink, they're no good, I told you, Cowboys fans. And yes, I told you, Cowboys fans, listen, Dallas has been everything that I said they were going to be in the offseason. In the offseason, I said Dallas is going to put up a lot of points. And guess what? They put up a lot of points. Their offense has been very, very good. It's been prolific at times. Has that offense come to life in garbage time most of the time? Yeah, but for the most part, Dak Prescott, that offense, they're moving the football pretty well. Dak's putting up good numbers. But I said, Dak Prescott, he's not very good at winning big games versus winning teams. I said that defense was going to be absolute doo. And guess what? All those things have been true. I also said that Mike McCarthy is not a great head coach. He's an average coach at best, and Dallas fans did not want to listen to me. And, well, it looks like so far I've been right. Dallas is not a contender. I told you guys Dallas was not a Super Bowl contender. I told you that Dallas was not a playoff team, and so far I'm going to stand by those statements. But I want to focus in on the Cleveland Browns in this episode because at one point in that game, the score was 41-14 in favor of Cleveland. So when you look at the final box score, you look at that score and you see 49-38, and you say, oh, the game was kind of relatively close. No, for the most part, Cleveland dominated most of this game. Like I said, at one point the game was 41-14. Cleveland was in cruise control of the game. The Browns, they've been bad for so long. I'm so happy the Cleveland Browns got a huge win, man. For the last 20 years, Cleveland's been a laughingstock. And, I picked the Cleveland Browns to make the playoffs in the offseason. And so far, I'm going to stick to that pick. I'm going to stick to that pick based on what I've seen. I do think that Cleveland has the potential to lose to Indianapolis this week just because the Indianapolis Colts have a very good defense, actually the number one defense in the NFL, and Cleveland is coming off an emotional win, a big primetime win versus Dallas that was nationally televised. So Cleveland, don't smell yourself too much. Indianapolis could spoil your party, this Sunday in Cleveland, okay? But even if the Browns were to lose to the Colts, I still have a lot of confidence in this team going forward, okay? Looking at the Cleveland Browns on the season, sure, they beat the Bengals. Sure, they beat the Washington football team when Dwayne Haskins, pretty much gift-wrapped them the game with all of his turnovers, But this was a game that Cleveland sort of needed to win. This was a game that Cleveland kind of needed to at least play well in to say, hey, at least we might have arrived. And guess what? I think Cleveland has officially arrived at least this year. The Cleveland Browns versus Dallas had 307 rushing yards. That is mind-boggling to me. They control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football for the entire game, both on offense and defense. Nick Chubb, he's out for a little while. He suffered an injury in the game, but Cleveland still has a very good run game despite Nick Chubb, having to miss some time potentially. They've still got Kareem Hunt. He's very, very good. Nick Chubb is a blow to their team. But, man, I got to say, Baker Mayfield was efficient. He played very well, had 2 touchdowns in the game, had a pass rating of 100. And listen, man, Baker Mayfield is now finally realizing I don't have to be Superman. I don't have to be Superman because Baker Mayfield last year tried to do way too much too often. And that got Baker Mayfield into some trouble, at times. He was throwing interceptions. He was wildly inaccurate at times, made some bad decisions. But now that Baker Mayfield has an improved offensive line, now that Baker Mayfield has a real run game, and now that Baker Mayfield has a guy in Kevin Stefanski that understands what Baker Mayfield is and understands what Baker Mayfield does well and what he doesn't do well, now Baker Mayfield looks like a franchise quarterback from time to time. Now, there's going to come a point in time where Baker Mayfield is going to have to go out there and flat out win the Cleveland Browns a game or two because at some point the Cleveland Browns running game is going to get taken away. So the only real question I have for Cleveland is, can Baker Mayfield make the necessary throws to, win a shootout with Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, or Ben Roethlisberger? Can he do that? That's the biggest question for Cleveland going forward. But I like Baker Mayfield. I liked Baker Mayfield when he was coming out of Oklahoma. He took a step back this past year. This year he's taking a step forward. He's playing very well. And like I said, man, Cleveland, they got some real players. They've got very good wide receivers. Odell Beckham Jr. had a great game. And I am so happy that Kevin Stefanski has found very creative ways to get Odell Beckham Jr. involved within this offense. Freddie Kitchens last year did not know how to utilize Odell Beckham Jr. properly. The Cleveland Browns offense suffered because of it. Well, guess what? This year, the Cleveland Browns have a real head coach that knows what he's doing. And so far, Cleveland, they look pretty good, man. I really like what I've seen from Cleveland. Myles Garrett is also a beast coming off the edge. Myles Garrett right now might be the best pass rusher in the entire NFL. It's either Myles Garrett or TJ Watt. I think that Khalil Mack might be in that conversation, but for my money, for what it's worth right now, either TJ Watt or Myles Garrett are the best edge rushers in the National Football League. It's between those two, and I would actually pick Myles Garrett. I would give him the slight edge over TJ Watt. Myles Garrett's a beast. The last 3 games, he's had a sack in each game. He's forced a fumble in each game. He's wreaking havoc. And listen, you can't, block Myles Garrett one-on-one. And if you do block Myles Garrett one-on-one, he's going to make it pay. Myles Garrett, he was picked number 1 overall a couple years ago. He is definitely a hit. And I got to say, man, Cleveland, improved offensive line, improved head coach, a new rejuvenated Baker Mayfield that understands what he needs to do to win football games, a real run game, star wide receivers, a defense that can rush the passer. The back end of the secondary is a little bit of a question, but Cleveland, their defense is good enough. And I think Cleveland's going to be a playoff team this year. The Cleveland Browns got a very impressive win versus Dallas, and I am so happy for the Cleveland Browns. It's very interesting because when I look at Baltimore and Pittsburgh, those 2 teams look pretty good, and Cleveland's right there with them. The AFC North might very well get 3 might very well get 3 teams into the playoffs in 2020, and that would be super fun. But look out, people, because the Cleveland Browns, they are a legit playoff team in 2020, in my opinion. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.